Hello everyone, it is me, your host, Chef James MacInnis, and we are back doing the Village Cooking Channel. Fried chicken legs, 500 crispy chicken leg fry recipe, cooking in Village, fried leg piece. Now I got kind of roasted in the comments for not taking the first one, the biryani that I did that started this whole deep dive down Indian cooking. So after I'm done watching this, I'm going to take the very end where they feed the community, and I'm going to put that right now to make sure that everybody out there that doesn't know about fried cooking or Village Cooking Channel knows what they do. And then we will carry on with the video from the beginning forward. And if you are watching this before I've hit 2,000 subscribers, then what we're going to be doing is taking 3 or 4 of these Indian recipes that I've watched and reacted with you, and I'm going to be putting them into a poll on my community tab. And you're going to get to vote on which one you want to see me cook. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so I can get there faster. Whenever I watch these guys, I do have to point out, I love the excitement and the enthusiasm you get from them. No clue what they're saying. Don't really want to know. I don't have to know. You can tell joy is a universal language. It doesn't matter if you speak Russian, English, Hindi, Italian. Joy is universal. You can just tell from somebody's tone. So I get roasted every time I mention washing chicken. They're outside, I get it. They're outside, you know, that chicken might have just been killed today or yesterday and you're still washing off some blood that might be there. I totally understand it. I've made references to people washing chicken in their house that they buy from the store that should already be clean, and how it can spread salmonella everywhere through just the mist. Some people have said, you know what, I mean, we wash our kitchens too, you know, that's not true. But, I mean, like when you flush your toilet, that spreads mist everywhere, because not everyone's always flushing it with the lid down. So, I mean, it can be 10, 15 feet away that mist can get shot. So just personally, you'll never see me washing chicken on an indoor setting. This, on the other hand, outside, I totally understand, and I get that it's part of the tradition and culture, so I can respect that. In the biryani video, they washed it with turmeric, too. That was kind of cool. Oh, one other thing I was going to say, if they have 2 big bowls like that, 2 big pots, you know what they could do? Because we do this sometimes when we have to do, like we have to cool stuff off. What I like to do is I have a colander that is the same shape as my bowl. and I've knocked the bottom feet off of it so I can rest it right inside the bowl. So if I have to rinse off vegetables or shock pasta, I can put my product in there, get the water on it, and then I can just pick up the inner bowl and let it drain. That could be something to speed up their process a little bit. I don't know if they've ever thought of that, of taking that second big platter and drilling a bunch of holes through it so they can lift it up. Although it probably does weigh with the water in it, because you have to lift the water weight up too at first for it to drain. So yeah, if they have like, say, 100 or 200 pounds of chicken in there, and then probably another 200 pounds of water. I mean, yeah, unless they're getting a forklift, to lift it up, I now see while I'm saying this how dumb what I just said was. So we'll just continue on.
அரைச்ச மஞ்சள் சாந்து, அரைச்ச மிளகாய் சாந்து, அரைச்ச இஞ்சி பூண்டு, சோயா சாறு, கல்லுப்பு தள்ளி போடுங்க.
For mixing it like that, that young man must be fit, because you can get really tired exerting your body like that. I know there's some smaller scale jobs around the restaurant that I have to do, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm sore and tired after that. That is the apprentice's job. I don't know why I'm doing this.
மாவே சேர்ந்தாப்புல போட்டுங்க ரெண்டு பேரும். சோள மாவே, வறுத்த அரைச்ச மிளகாய் பொடி.
So this is starting out the flour mix here. It's starting out similar to what we do when I do pan-seared fish at the restaurant. I'll make a dredging setup. So I'll have my container and I'll do 75%. And it's just a rough, like I do a couple scoops. So it's about roughly 75% white flour and 25% cornstarch. And what that cornstarch does is it gives it a better crisp. It's just better than just straight flour. The problem is, like, if you go too cornstarchy, it doesn't taste good. The flour has a better mouthfeel and taste than the cornstarch does, but the cornstarch has a better crisp than the flour. So you want to find that balance act where you can get the best of both worlds, and I find it at 75 to 25. I'll also put my seasonings into that flour. So I will, I usually use it for fish, I will add dillweed, lemon zest, that kind of stuff right into the flour. I will also use the same mix for ossobuco, which is braised veal shank, because when you sear the veal shank and then you put it into a braising liquid after, and the flour that's on it helps thicken the braising liquid like a natural, like a ware roux does. Ossobuco is delicious. For those of you that can eat beef, it is braised veal shank, and the prize on the ossobuco is because you have, like, it's a piece of meat like this, and it's about like that thick, but right in the middle of it is the thigh bone, and the prize in the middle is the bone marrow. That is what makes the dish. Without the bone marrow, it's not worth eating.
முனுக்கின மிளகு தூள், முனுக்கின கல்லுப்பு. மலைச்சார மாதிரி ஃபுல்லா தூங்குதா. என்ன பழம் மொழிடா? புது வகை பழமொழி. காய்ட் மலை நண்டு லாக்கு சாவி கூப்பிட்டுருவேன். போன வந்து அவரு போட்டுறாரோ. அது என்ன படம்? பூரா பேலும் கண்ணங்கரிட்டு இருக்கே, ஒண்ணுமே தெரிய மாட்டேங்குது. ஒரு கண்ணத்தை அரைஞ்சா மறு கண்ணத்தை காட்டுதான் சொல்லுவா. நல்லா பிரட்டி எடுத்து போட்டு விடு. அப்படி சொன்ன உடனே வந்து தமிழ்ச்செடி ஒன்று அவன் குழம்பிட்டான், வேற ஒன்றும் இல்லை. ஆமாம் இந்த பரட்டி விட அப்படியே.
So flouring it once, going into the water to get it wet, and then flouring it a second time is a way to build up a thicker, crispier crust. Now, what I like to do when I do fish or the ossobuco is I just let it sit out for about 5-10 minutes and let its own natural moisture wet it, so I can do this a second time. Another thing that's really common over here for chicken, instead of using water like that, is using buttermilk. Buttermilk gives it a real good flavor, and buttermilk is also a tenderizer. It's got that acidic component. So what you might do here is actually soak all that chicken in buttermilk overnight before you flour it.
எனக்கு அருமையான வேலையாக கொடுத்துருக்கீங்க. நீ மச்சா என்னோட ரோல் பயங்கரமான ரோலாக இருக்கியா? என்னடா கொட்டா பாக்கு ஏன் களிப்பாக்குலாம் இடத்துல போட பார்த்தா 260 போயிடுச்சு. இப்போ அதே நிலமையில தான் இருக்குது. ஏன் இப்படிலாம் பாதியில் எடுத்தேன். என்ன எப்படி அப்படி வேலை? ஆமாம், அதை மொத்தம் எடுத்து போட்டு இருப்பா போல. பார்த்துக்க, ஒரு வேலை பார்க்கறதுனா 7 வேலை பார்க்குறேன். அண்ணாவே ஒளி தலை உடச்சவன். ஓ இதுதான் போடு. என்ன அதில் எடுத்து வச்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கிற? ஏய் மச்சான், இது எந்த இந்த டைம் அப்படி இருக்காது தம்பி. ஏ தம்பி நைட்டே போயிருவியா? அதனால தான் வலிக்குதா? தண்ணி நல்லா நிறையா குடி. நான் முடிச்சிட்டேன். ஓகே அண்ணே, கடைசிண்ணே. அப்பா ஐயா, நல்லா வீடியோ எடுக்கிறீங்க ஐயா. செக்கில் ஆட்டின சுத்தமான நல்லெண்ணெய். முன்னாடி போட்டது பின்னாடி போட்டதை விட
Now this is something I'm glad they're outside, because just with the size of this, and there's always a risk when you're frying this much stuff too that things can get out of hand. It's nice that they're outside. Like, you know, you could burn your house down doing something like this inside. I mean, but you also wouldn't try and do this for this much inside, I would hope. We have a tradition here in parts of Canada, and especially down south in the US, of deep frying whole turkeys for Thanksgiving. And that is done outside. People that are doing it will do it in their driveway. The whole neighborhood knows you're doing it if you're doing it, and you'll have a special turkey deep fryer with a propane tank. And the fire departments are always putting out public service announcement videos on, you know, how to do it safely. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher nearby. They look like they're out in the field, so if something catches on fire, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But you definitely want to do this outside if it's that kind of volume. The turkeys, they're like, you want to make sure that they're thawed and dry, because if you put a frozen turkey, it's a giant ice cube. So if you put a frozen turkey into a deep fryer, it's like they usually have a firefighter, looks like he's in like a bomb disposal uniform, like from a movie, and he drops the frozen turkey into that, and it explodes the oil everywhere, and like it would severely burn a person. Might even cause enough burns to where somebody could die. People have died deep frying turkeys in their driveway. So it is always something like, be careful when you're deep frying. Be careful when you're deep frying this much stuff. And also into this, it will take you longer if you think you have to deep fry a lot of stuff and you think that just put it all in the fryer. That will take you longer than doing it in batches, because every time you will drop the temperature of the oil below the frying threshold, and it will take long. That oil has to recover and temp back up to the proper frying temperature, and on its way up to the proper frying temperature, that oil is going to seep through your protective breading, and it will make everything soggy. So you're going to be pissed off. You're not going to be happy with your frying. fried food. It's going to taste gross. It's going to be soggy. So just the way that they're doing it, you want to put some in your fryer. You want to make sure everything can swim around with movement. And then you want to take it out. You want to let the fryer, make sure the fryer has fully, it's back to that set, your predetermined temperature. They're cooking over fire. I love this about these guys. And you just keep cooking in batches. It will maintain its crisp. You'll be much happier with your product. And because you're letting the fryer always recover, you will cook faster overall because it's not recovering with the food in it.
என்ன அப்பப்போ மாத்துறிய சூடா இருக்கும் இதமான சாப்பாடு இருக்கு. பன்னீர் தெளிக்க சொல்லவா? என்ன மச்சான் நம்ம சாப்பிட்ற வேலையை பார்த்து கொண்டு வந்துடுறாங்க. நம்ம சூடாக தொட்டு விட அப்படியே
That chicken looks delicious. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip. That oil is not, you haven't used all the purpose of that oil if you don't want. What you can do, that oil is going to be so flavored with chicken and those seasonings that if you wanted to take some of that oil and mix that oil equal part with flour, you have a roux. And if you use that roux in a chicken stock, you now have a chicken gravy. And that chicken gravy would go really good with that fried chicken. That is like some of the best gravies are made from used deep fryer oil, believe it or not. As long as it's fresh, you didn't burn it, you didn't abuse the oil, it's not old. If it's fresh like that, you could use that oil to make a delicious gravy.
கடையில் போய் 1-2 லெக் பீஸ் வாங்கி சாப்பிடுவோம். இன்னைக்கு ஆசை தீர 500 லெக் பீஸ் சமைச்சு சாப்பிட்டாச்சு. சோறு குழம்பு எதுவுமே சாப்பிடல. வெறும் லெக் பீஸா உரின்னு உரிச்சாச்சு. வயிறு ரெம்பிருச்சு. ஃப்ரைடு சிக்கன் லெக் இன்னைக்கு ஒரு புடி பிடிச்சாச்சு. செம்ம புடி. வேற லெவல் இன்னைக்கு.
All right, everybody, thank you for watching along with me on that. That was the Village Cooking Channel doing fried chicken. This is the first Indian fried chicken that I've done, but the second time I thought I was doing one. I did a Duba style chicken curry before that from the thumbnail I thought was fried chicken. And I shared with everybody then at the beginning of that video a story about how I was raised by my grandparents, and the summer between grade 10 and 11, so I was about 15 or 16, my grandmother died. So it was just me and my grandpa left in the house. And the first holiday that came up next was Labor Day, which is celebrated the first Monday of September. And traditionally here in Canada, the following day is the first day of school. So Labor Day is the unofficial end to summer. And my grandpa was like, hey, why don't we have some KFC? We've never ordered food. Grandma always cooked. And he really wanted to try the popcorn chicken that was on all the TV commercials at the time. So he told me to order a bucket of chicken for myself as long as he gets some popcorn chicken. And we made it a tradition to have KFC every year after that. My grandpa passed away 2 years ago, and tradition still lives on. My wife disdains KFC. She doesn't like it one bit, but she respects the tradition, and every year on Labor Day, we sit down and have some KFC. She enjoys it that one day. So she does that for me, and I'm very thankful. And I'm grateful that I have such a loving and wonderful wife. And I'm also grateful that this community online here that we're building, I have all of these new fans from India that are watching me react to Indian food. At some point, obviously, I'm not going to get locked into just being a Indian food reaction channel, but I've also increased my reaction videos to twice a week. So for the time being, I don't see why I'm not going to continue doing Indian videos at least once a week, and branching back off to some European food. Maybe we might do some Chinese food the second day of the week. So that's kind of the plans I got going on, I think. Anyways, I've been Chef James, and you've been you. Thanks for coming and watching.